I don't know if you've all seen the news, but gosh dang it, does it make me want to throw up.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Intro. Hey everybody, welcome. We're live and we'll be live for 2 hours. We'll see how people get in here and everything. But if you're already here, help us go ahead and grow a quick audience there in the shorts feed by double tapping the screen, which should put a like down. Make sure that you hit that like there and help us get more people, because we want to know whether or not people genuinely believe MAGA is good for women. I got to tell you, we don't think it is. And you can call in and ask a real woman or challenge a real woman and then get your response from a man who will mansplain it over her. So it's like
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Perfect.
It's good stuff. Let's as nature, because nature says, guys, there are biological differences. That phone number is on the screen there, 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. YouTube's not telling me current viewership. Okay, there it goes. It popped in. Like I said, hit that like button. Help us get more people in, because we're ready to have those conversations. And there have been lots of people. In fact, didn't we have people last week saying they were going to call? I really hate on these shows
we did.
when we have a tougher time slot, when we have like a harder time slot, that people will then still wait. And then the last 30 minutes we'll have full up lines.
Yeah, that's
really
definitely
annoying.
what happened last time. Yeah, go ahead and get your call in if you want to be able to talk to us. The show's only going for 2 hours because we'll be going straight over to The Line Has a Podcast, correct? Am I getting ahead of things by
Correct.
sharing that?
No. Yeah. How dare you? How dare you let them
Sorry.
know? That event is only publicly listed. Yes, we are going straight from here to The Line Has a Podcast. Luthien, did we already set up redirect for that? And it is episode 100 of The Line Has a Podcast, which is kind of exciting.
It is exciting. That's wild.
And we have successfully transitioned it to a live show, which apparently I did a poor job of explaining to Alyssa, because on Thursday I was like, she was like, hey, could we push time? And I was like, well, no, we can't. It's like a hard time because we
It's
take
live.
the audience from the one before. It's and she was like, oh, live every time? I was like, yeah. What? We've been talking about this for months. Yeah, of course
You
it's
guys
every
have
time.
the best communication. I've missed it. And I'm going to be hanging out for at least the first little bit of the
That's
episode
true.
tonight.
Yeah,
It
she'll be
is
there.
late my time, or else I would hang the whole time, but it'll be the middle of the night for me. So take what you can get, everyone. But
That's
that being
right.
said, get your call in, please. It was really frustrating last week when we had some calls come in at the last minute that would have been really fun to have had earlier when we had time. There was one, the last one. I think that could have turned into a whole thing, and we had to end the show. So hopefully he will call back today. And it was something about Christianity and women, and he was going to explain to me why I should want to be submissive or something like that. So if there's any more of you out there that would like to call in and tell me why I should want to be conservative, MAGA, Christian, anything, all of the above, I'd love to hear it.
Did a fan just start blowing at you
No, why?
when you were talking, but and then it just went away? All right, I think we're good. There was a sound that was happening that sounded
Oh,
like
no.
a fan. Yeah.
There shouldn't
Oh.
be anything.
I'm just gaslighting you, I'm sure. That's probably what.
Okay, great.
It's not true. I'm not really. I'm gaslighting you now about the gaslighting.
I do feel like I keep flashing on the screen.
Well, that's going to get us a lot of views. That's going to get tons
Okay, all right.
so what you are seeing, the
Minus
flash, is
5
something we
points
don't
for the
know how to
Matrix.
resolve. It's the same as, so it's, if you look in Zoom, you know how it puts a green box around us when one of us is talking? It's doing that too.
Oh,
Yeah. It's identifying who the primary speaker is at a given moment. Technically, it's probably great for us because we do so little to appeal to the ADHD crowd that is like on TikTok, that like need I know it's not all of you, but it's enough of you, need all of the colors and the flashy things. Like right now, we're supposed to have a thing pop up that's like, this is the phone number, which by the way, that's the phone number, 336-543-2101. 336-543-2101. I said it fucked up. Don't call whatever number I was just saying. You should call in and explain to us why MAGA is bad or is good for women.
Yeah, not why it's bad. We don't want to just sit and agree with somebody.
Yeah. I'm trying to put it out on the social, see if we can get some people in here. It's always at the very beginning. They're shy. They're just very shy.
It's so fancy calling it the socials.
The socials? Is that fancy?
Yeah, it's very fancy. It sounds really pretentious. Like, I gotta go put this over on my socials real quick.
I assumed that I sounded like an old person saying Pokemon.
Maybe you do. This is coming from me.
I've got to go out to the socials and we're going to play bingo at the socials tonight. That phone number up there, 336-543-2101. If you're watching right now, double click the screen to throw a like down. That is going to help us get more calls. That is a very helpful thing you can do to make sure that we end up in more people's feeds. And then hopefully we see, because we're only here 2 hours, people. If you have a friend or an associate, a companion, a person you have to see at things who are constantly going off about how MAGA is so much better and for the record, we would take a general MAGA call, a general political disagreement. We're just extra interested in MAGA for women because this is how I prove I know at least one woman is by doing a show with her. But that is the general topic we want, a general MAGA call, political opposition, whatever. We would take in general. Christianity isn't good for women either. We would take that call. And you can call in at 336-543-2101. If you know people who you want to see challenge us, you can have them call in at that phone number, 336-543-2101. I'm pretty excited actually for the podcast later. Not that this isn't enjoyable.
Is there something exciting planned for it? Yeah, that's kind of rude.
No.
You're like, hanging out with you is okay, but it's going to be way more fun when Alyssa's here. I'm
going to be hanging out with you also, but no, there isn't anything, by the way. Thanks for that. Thanks. Now people are going to be like, oh, let's see what special thing Jimmy's doing for episode 100. Because, that would be me. I would be the one expected to have done something. No. Just the news about both Kash Patel and Donald Trump are trying to make, in Kash's case, millions, and in Donald Trump, 10 billion. 250.
250? I thought it was 2.5.
You're talking about Kash's lawsuit? $250 million. Yeah.
Shit.
So you guys will have to tune in. You'll have to tune into that if you want to see what's going on there. All right. That phone number, 336-543-2101. MAGA, also, if you hate waiting on hold, that's the other thing that's funny is they'll wait until other people are calling and there's other calls going on, and then they wait on hold. If you call in early, you call in now, the chances of you hitting a hold so much lower. And we actually want to talk to you. We will hear your reasoning as long as you aren't, yelling and melting down. Unfortunately, there's a number of those. You can call in 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. We don't take anonymous callers. So the person who thinks that they're going to get in using not even a phone number right now and calling anonymously, you are not going to be getting on the air unless you call in the phone number.
I don't understand the anonymous calling because you're getting to remain pretty anonymous on here already. You and I are on here giving our faces, our names, everything. So it already isn't equal.
Well, also
that makes it extra weird.
It's literally a safety precaution because people threaten to kill us. It's also an anti-troll thing. So it's like safety and anti-trolling. We've been doing the show for 7 years, and yet people will freshly say, I'm not going to give you my information. Like, oh, right. Well, 7 years. Show me where we ever abused having people's information. Right. Once. Show me one time. There was a guy saying he wouldn't call in because Matt abused a caller by letting him know that he now has his information. Literally no other information than that. It's like, wow, oh my God.
That's like your situation from yesterday.
Which one?
I don't know if you
Oh
want me
my
to talk
God,
about it
the
on
people.
air.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So while I want to add to the things that they can complain about, there was this caller last night who called the line, whose name is Brent, and the
Oh,
Brent
you're gonna
call.
share. I'm like, I don't know if you want to share, and you're like, here's the whole story. Here's the guy's
Here's the
name,
social
everything.
security number. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Brent called in with the name Brent. Brent isn't necessarily actually named Brent. That's publicly that was the name Brent declared. And Brent is a Philbro. Well, is like I like the term they came up for it. A Temu Philbro. We need the screener is cooking a pizza. I think we got the screener very late, so we need the screener to come in and let the person. Hang on, I'm going to switch the caller to show audio. Okay, the caller who's waiting in the queue right now. You called in anonymously. We don't take anonymous calls because there's a 90% chance you just want to scream the slurs and get off. Nobody has ever we've been doing this for years. No one's ever complained about an abuse of information. Hang up and call back 336-543-2101. We don't take anonymous callers. We don't take blocks or anything like that. That is what you need to do now. Okay. Let's see. No, Luthien is not the one making a pizza. Brent called in, is a gender abolitionist. Not look, my first read of it was somebody called in to talk about trans issues, so probably going to be a transphobe. Gender abolition is low-key transphobic. Like it is, it's essentially because the gender abolitionists tend to be very gender absolutist about their position, and basically you could easily say a gender abolitionist goes, gender is a social construct. That's true. Therefore, everything which splits off of it is a social construct. But it actually is transphobic in the same way that race abolition, the people who are like, you should just be blind to race, we should just pretend race doesn't exist, is actually in fact racist, because there are people, there is tradition, there are people who have been affected by this and people who have been oppressed by this, as well as traditions and things that go with it. So when you're saying we should erase race, you're saying we should also essentially erase the history and the talking about and any sort of tradition that is race-based that a person would want to maintain. And so it's sort of in the same way. And it's kind of like, just because gender is a social construct doesn't create a level of arbitrariness for gender, nor does it eliminate that there are non-social construct elements of gender that are why, for example, gender has independently emerged from civilizations basically every time. And so in a way, as you are trying to solve trans issues by just abolishing gender, you're essentially saying were it not but for this thing that society decided exists, you wouldn't experience gender dysphoria. And that's not, gender dysphoria is not a social construct, nor is gender euphoria, nor is why we tend to split into genders. And so anyway, this person called in as a gender abolitionist, and we've had an email back and forth because they basically called in and then sent me an email.
The emails are so good.
Letting us know they told on us. Hi, I'm Brent. I called in on 419 to engage the host on gender abolition. I was told to fuck off by Forrest and called a Temu Philbro by John. I didn't want to escalate, but it seems my only option at this point. Sincerely, Brent A. P.S. I filed a complaint with the Creator Accountability Network. Which, by the way, they're good enough people over there. We're not a part of them. They also don't have any real enforcement arm, but they're basically like people who can be like, "Brr, brr, 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 brr," and when asked, they can do investigations and I guess make public declarations about it. Anyway, so I wrote back, please include a screenshot of this email in your complaint to the Creator Accountability Network. Fuck off, transphobic Temu Philbro. And then apparently I must have said something to my Amazon Echo because I wrote Alexa at the very end.
I was wondering why you signed it Alexa.
Yeah. Anyway, he responds with a screenshot. People, MAGA, there's your phone number as I'm telling you all about the drama from last night. And if you're watching right now, double click the like screen so we can get this in more people's feed and we can get a higher number of people potentially here too. In fact, let's do a little poll here. Is MAGA better for women than more left alternatives. Let's put more than the left alternatives. Okay. Because if I don't put the, they're going to be like, well, here's a very specific myopic.
Sure.
Okay, let's see.
Well, there's already people hitting yes, so call.
Yeah.
Unless you're afraid and you don't have a good argument, in which case, why did you even admit that you do think it's better if you can't defend your position?
Exactly. Unfortunately, that the person who called anonymously, that we said if you aren't basically call in from your phone unless you're just trying to call to make slurs, did not call back in. Anyway, they responded with just a screenshot of the video, a still of the video. I suppose the still, you know what? Forrest looks pretty abusive in that still. I'm going to be honest. I think he nailed it. So I responded with, please refer to the previous response. Then sent back a link with a timestamp TBD, but about -40 on the screen. Thank you.
TBD.
Timestamp to be determined, I guess. Anyway, and then responded, I filled it. I think they meant filed. And I wrote back one word, good. And so they wrote, thanks for the quick response. I will continue to pursue this. I wrote, by the way, you're really bad at your argument from the onset. On top of being an obvious dick, you should give up on debate. And to be clear, this is Jimmy Snow, owner of the line. Because I didn't want there to be any mistake about who's responding. Because this is our general contact at Q&A line. I don't want people to be like, well, it could be Lux, could be Arden, I don't know. It's Brittany, bitch. Okay? That's who it is.
/ Alexa, apparently.
And Alexa, yeah. Unfortunately, Alexa was there. But isn't she everywhere? Isn't the Alexa the friends we made along the way? Okay. I also wrote, they wrote, okay, so thanks for the quick response. I will continue to pursue this. In response to that, to continue to pursue this, I wrote, what if tomorrow something happens and you can be a bigger victim? Would you then? Brent says, I'd be happy to forward this to the Creator Accountability Network. Thanks, Jimmy. To which I wrote, I insist that you do. They can call me directly anytime. Brent says, already done, Jimmy. And I wrote, do it again, all caps.
That's
do it again. This is my favorite part. So for the record, I just want to, Brent sends an email, I reply. Brent sends an email, I reply. Brent sends 2 emails, I reply. Brent says an email, I reply. And then I add a second, an addendum to mine. So it's still 2, but I would consider it 1.5. Brent sends an email, I reply. Brent sends an email, I reply. So it's been email, reply, email, reply, email, reply. And total number of emails, Brent's 1 ahead. He sent 1 more than I've sent him. To which he then replies, now we're at 2 more. Pretty sure this qualifies as harassment now, but by all means, Jimmy, keep it up. Well, the legal terms are getting thrown out, people. We got legal here. The lawyers are engaged. We're getting it going. So I obviously did the thing that you're supposed to do whenever somebody threatens essentially legal action, and I decided to no longer engage. Just kidding. I wrote, yeah, that's what harassment is. You emailing me and me replying is harassment. Your lawyer will love it. You know where the block button is, buckaroo. I think it was Javon who I was talking to about this. He's like, dude, literally in a harassment suit, the first thing they ask you is, what did you do to try and cease communication with the person? I'm like, we're in America. People can't get fucking restraining orders against actual stalkers.
Right. But now you've responded to an email.
I can already guess several layers of privilege this person has because he doesn't know what it's like to be somebody who basically fears for their life, and the police are like, nah, we can't do anything until they kill you. But once they kill you, we got you. So anyway, that's the country we live in, but he reckons he's got a harassment suit because I have, again, checks notes, replied to his emails. replied. But here's where it gets kind of funny. Yeah, that's what it is. And then Brent says, we'll see what Can says. They have your number, right? I think that somebody there does actually, but I don't know. You know, if somebody from Can messaged me was like, hey, can we have a quick convo? I would literally just reply with my phone number. I'm not stingy with my phone number to people who are like in the industry and around and stuff. Anyway, contact. Oh, I reply. I look forward to seeing if Can decides to burn their reputation for a bigot who made the choice to call our show, and then the choice to email, and the choice to reply. And then at the end of the day, it won't matter because I'm not a part of Can, and yet I still will be shocked if they tell you anything besides, dude, no one made you engage. Cry harder, transphobe. I'm done with you. Unlike you, I have better things to do. Now, I want you all to know that is the very last email I sent. And keep in mind that Brent has made the case that the way he sees it, harassment is when you reply to an email. This motherfucker replied 3 more times, and I have said nothing.
That's wild. That's
obviously,
so wild.
Obviously, he's going to prison if his own standard is to be held of what harassment is. This man will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Plot twist: you're both going to jail for harassing each other by responding to each other's emails.
2 of them is him trying to bait me into debating him in email. Brett, you can call now. I'm sure you're watching. Trying to bait me into debating him over email about calling him a transphobe. That's 2 of them. And then the other one was, sorry, BTW. I know you are not a member of Can. It wasn't an accident that you refused oversight. It is your nature to think you are right and everyone else is wrong. To some degree, I don't even disagree with a lot of that. I mean, the implication of narcissism is ironic coming from this person, as literally this is why he is here, because he can't handle the idea of being wrong and handle the idea of not being taken seriously when he was a douchebag. Damn right I refused oversight, because kindly, Can I understand people like them? I don't know who the fuck you are. I currently run an organization where I clearly have ethical limitations to who I will collaborate with and who I will work with. I set the ethics code at the line about, everybody needs to be a secular humanist. There are certain lines we don't cross, blah, 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 blah. Why the fuck would I cede that to a group who I don't know who the fuck they are and what their values are? If the day comes that they say, we don't like something you did and you signed on, so now you're held accountable in some way because you signed on and then broke the rules, and I go, it's my organization, I think your rule is wrong, I just submit to who the fuck are these people? Again, not meaning to be offensive. But this isn't like a big group everybody has signed on to. If there was something... Right,
it's not like an actual law. Like, they can't do anything.
They're an NPO who was basically like, hey, guys, we'd like to create a universal code of ethics that YouTubers follow and do investigations when there might be abuse and all that kind of stuff. And all of that sounds like a type of organization that should exist. But I don't literally... Cool. I can't name you one person from Can. So, like, let's say we just laid that out and people are like, wow, that really, really sounds great. And then I'm like, yeah, for sure. Harvey Weinstein is the lead investigator. And it's not Harvey Weinstein, but like, I don't know who these people are. So why would I submit to them? Why would I put especially when you're in a situation like, oops, I pressed the wrong thing. When you're in a situation like ours, where ethics and morality and the ways in which we think the world should be ran different from that approach. I think Christian morality is fucking terrible. If you disagree with me, call in 336-543-2101. I think that conservatism, I think Democrats are terrible. I think liberals are terrible. I think the fact that we are now this many decades into having the option to pass something like Medicare for all and condemns us as an American people. Like, we are fucking dog shit. Poor people still exist and people are still challenged by a system that was built to challenge them. As a matter of choice in America, we have chosen to keep class separation, to increase wage gaps, all of that kind of shit. I have my ethical considerations, and setting those ethical considerations is an important part of this channel. Why would I submit to some other organization? I understand there are lots of creators who don't have that, right? They're just there to make their content and stuff. And there are people out there who it's like, actually, this is the kind of thing that I need to cede to somebody else. Like, I need to know what those limitations and expectations are, but that's not us. That's one of the first things we're doing. I need to move this.
I knew you were going to grab that. Oh, you're just moving it. Okay.
I'm just moving it. Yeah.
I thought you were going to break out in song.
No, not
yeah,
this
I'm hoping
time.
we'll get the calls in before 30 minutes before the show is over, where we can't actually engage in a full conversation. I would also love if somebody wants to call and convince me why I should want to live in Trump's America. That would be cool to hear.
Yeah. There's a Brent in chat that I think is feeling like it's a rough day to be a Brent. He's like, Brent in chat saying hashtag not all Brents, essentially. I believe. Yeah, you're right, Brent. You're right.
I wouldn't want to be that Brent, or I wouldn't want to be named Brent. I wouldn't want to be named Andrew.
Oof, not on this channel.
Yeah.
You know what's got to be rough?
Our
John has to be thinking about changing his name because we've got a couple of bad Johns.
Yeah.
Bad John callers. One of the worst callers on the channel, I'm not even joking, is called Jimmy.
Oh.
And
are you sure they are, or are they just using that name to troll you?
There's no reason that it's, first of all, James is the most common male name for my generation anyway, for the last couple generations. So I have no reason to believe that they aren't named Jimmy, but it is, okay, here's the thing. And there are a couple of trolls who know that this is true. I filter sometimes comments. I just write the word Jimmy as a filter so I can see all the shit people are talking about me. It gets you straight to the ones.
I don't know why you do that to yourself. That would give me a panic attack.
I know. It's funny. If you just say it like, sometimes I just do by Jimmy so I can just see the comments that are addressing me. People are like, wow, that's like very Trumpian. Like, only wants to read the ones with the name in it. It's mostly mean though, guys. So if you think
it's not like a fun experience. You've done this to me before, like where you put my name in and we read, and it's not a fun experience.
In fact, let's do it.
Oh God.
Just for a second, because we do have a call screening. Hopefully they are here to challenge.
This is going to end up hurting my feelings live on air.
Oh, I was going to do me. I was going to do you.
Oh, good. Let's do you. That sounds great.
Let's see. Jimmy Snow is the arsehole's arsehole. My show, bitch. Why? If someone acts like an arse and continues to act like an arse, I understand that people will lose tolerance. But to start with arrogant abuse is an indicator that John is only here for personal ego burns. I feel like this one was like halfway where the person's basically saying like, Jimmy is an asshole, but John called in wanting to be shamed. Essentially, I don't know. It's also funny how often, anytime there's a compliment, the percentage of compliments that are then caked in, but I prefer Forrest. Jimmy's pretty good at this, but I prefer Forrest. I prefer 40-minute tangents about evolution when the question was, I don't know, what is socialism? I love Forrest too, and I prefer Forrest to myself as well. And I understand why lots of people prefer his debate style. That's not, but I also understand why lots of people like TikTok. Forrest is better than me by a lot at appealing to the way many young people need to have information delivered. He's very enthusiastic. Obviously, he's brilliant too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's all charisma and that's his appeal. Oink. No, I'm kidding. He has the information to back up it. Okay, so the only person right now in the queue is not a debate or it's not on the topic of today, so also wouldn't be something Promise would comment much on, nor is it a debate call. We don't really do just sort of general broad conversation calls. So Noah, kindly, I'm going to tell you, we're going to leave the space open, even though we don't have other calls, for an actual MAGA caller. MAGA, I am actually turning down a socialist comrade to say, guys, call in. The phone number's right there. You don't have much time. We're not on for very long today, 90 minutes. You all generally tend to call toward the end of the show when we can't fit you all in. So right now we have a live chat. 6% of you have said that MAGA is better for women than the left alternative. That should be about 30 of you. Surely one of you can call in and explain to us why. The phone number is up there, 326-543-2101. I do understand MAGA is very discouraged right now because of how bad MAGA has been losing at everything, at how all the reasons why Trump. So if you want to ignore the Trump of it all, I understand, because I don't think most of you want to defend Trump right now. I think MAGA is figuring out that Trump is dumb and he's bad at his job. I guess if you disagree with that, you could call in. I just don't think anybody will right now defend Donald Trump. If you want to just go with conservatism and MAGA values, not Trump himself, are better for women, we can stick to that. If you want to not do the Trump of it all, we can stick to that.
Tell me why I would want to live in a conservative America. I'd love to hear that argument.
Is Brent number banned? I didn't ban Brent's number. It would be illegal for him to call, though. That would be harassment. JK.
Are we taking Christianity calls too? If somebody wants to call in and tell me why I should be a Christian? Or
I'd love to hear it.
Any kind of religion like that.
And again, if you know somebody, double tap the screen to hit like to make sure that this is going out to people, as many people as possible. We have 907 people watching right now. All of you could hit like and help out with that. And we are just waiting for that first person who is going to defend that MAGA, conservatism, or Christianity is a better path for women. And
at this point, we'll be so excited to talk to you, and we're going to try to keep the conversation going because you will be the first caller. So you should go.
This is disgusting, by the way.
What is it?
That's my poop juice.
Stop.
What do you mean stop? Do you not know about this stuff yet? How have we not talked about it a million times? I have to drink 4 times a day a packet of resin to make my poop solid, or I die. It's how does the live chat know more about me than you?
Because we haven't talked in so long, and then the last time
this has been the last 2 years of my life now.
The resin one? I don't think somehow I have learned so much about you. Like, we have talked about this topic, but I don't think. I guess I knew about this. I don't know.
It's come up on the podcast many times. That's very funny.
Is it flavored?
It's orange flavored, but it's because it's resin. Even in water, it doesn't mix into water, so it's kind of like drinking orange sand.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very gritty. Liz Chris says, I wouldn't know who Forrest was if not for Jimmy, and for that and other reasons I prefer Jimmy despite loving Forrest. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy. Yeah, listen, I love Forrest too. I'm fine that he's a lot of people's preference. For the record, it's nice for he's your preference, and all of his success is thanks to me. So his win is my win.
I don't understand when people will, like, because I'll see these comments about me, like, oh, I hate when Promise is hosting or something. I'm like, why? Then why are you watching? Go watch. There's a million episodes to choose from.
We put out 40 hours of content a week, guys.
Right. So why are you sitting here? If I'm just so the worst and you hate when I'm on, then don't watch. It's so easy.
But you know what?
Or when people will say, oh, I like so-and-so, but so-and-so is my actual favorite. Or I like when Promise hosts with this person, but when she hosts with this person, that's my favorite. It's always a different person. But like, we are like real people that see this stuff. It's awkward to see it.
People are excited you're back, though. I do see that.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
thanks,
in the
guys.
chat. A lot of like, oh shit, Promise is back in the comments.
I think I just haven't been hosting with you, and so that's why nobody noticed that I've been still on the line on Sundays.
I think a lot of people prefer the political channel, even when you maybe get done with the God stuff, because the line arguably can be a bit of a phase for a lot of people. Some people are there long term because they're passionate about it the way we're passionate about it. And those people might come in and out forever. But for a lot of people, it's a stop. It's like, I'm going to be here for several months, but at some point, I'm not going to need to see as many of these things. I'm pretty good at articulating the arguments myself, all of those things.
I was trying to give you a compliment and say that more people care if I'm hosting with you, but sure, it's the politics.
What the fuck even is this note? Nor do I actually believe somebody is calling in from Croatia.
Oh, no. I think he is, and I've talked to him a couple of times with Matt, if it's who I remember, and he is calling in from Croatia.
And is there depth to this person?
I don't know if that's the word I'd use. There's potentially a call in here. I don't
Is
know
this a
what.
new Andrew? Like, look, I know that we've now turned down,
We could
we've turned down
probably
two so
end the
far.
call really quickly if we find out what he's actually calling about.
Okay. Okay. Adam from Croatia considers himself right wing. Adam, you're calling in about magic tablets or magic paper. What's up?
Hi. Yeah. I just want. So why don't you steal the paper and try to destroy it to prove yourself that it's not indestructible?
I'm sorry, you believe that the way I could prove it is indestructible, specifically the Catholic, I don't
Yes.
even know how to say it. It's Medugery, the Catholic Marjorie
Medjugorje.
Taylor Greene
Medjugorje.
paper. Great. Medjugorje. That I should break in to the vaults. I mean, simple. Look, man, you caught me, Adam. God exists. God's real. Because I am refusing to break in and steal a claim of magic paper that is indestructible from wherever they're keeping it and then try to destroy it. And here's the thing, Adam, it would destroy. There is no such thing as indestructible parchment.
Listen
Adam,
to me.
why-
You don't have.
Why would a God choose to reveal himself through a piece of paper and not any other way?
Why do you think that I have to know the answer to that question? God's doing things in His way.
By the way, you know the
So
Catholic
why
Church
don't-
doesn't
when I
actually
say-
teach that it's the Catholic
Excuse me,
Church.
can I say something?
No, you can't. The
No.
Catholic Church doesn't
Excuse me, can I
actually
say
cheat.
something?
The Catholic Church doesn't actually claim this thing even exists. So where would you propose I steal it from?
No, when I said steal, I don't mean that you have to violently steal it. You can simply ask the visionary from Medjugorje to hand it over to you, and then you can
Okay, sure.
try
I'll tell you what,
try to
Adam,
destroy
since
it.
it's that simple and you think that would work, you contact them for me. Our address is in the description that you can get it mailed to or have somebody reach out. You make all of that happen, Adam, since it'll be that simple, it'll be that easy. Here's the thing I've got for you, Adam. Again, the Catholic Church doesn't claim this exists. If it existed,
No,
why?
you are wrong. You are
why?
wrong.
Why?
Wrong.
If it exists, why would anybody keep it a secret? Why would they, in fact, not present it and prove that it is indestructible, considering that would convert millions of people to Catholicism?
It is the answer. This thing is so important that God is using a lot of time to draw everyone's attention to it. You know? So
He's
when
doing
it
a
comes,
terrible
you
job
won't
at
be
drawing
able to
people's
say-
attention to it.
When it comes, you won't be able to say, I didn't hear about it. Okay?
So what you're saying is God's trying to trick us and he's not showing us. Showing us would make a lot of believers and more people would go to heaven. But God wants to hold off and maximize the number of people to go to hell for not believing on this basis. Literally revealing it would mean more people in heaven, which is what a loving creator would do. Holding off is a trickster thing to do to make sure more people go to hell. And your God is a good God?
No, these are mind games. You are oversimplifying or undersimplifying things. You are.
I agree that God is
doesn't
playing a
work that
mind
way.
game.
God knows what's the best. God
Hey, Adam.
knows. And
Adam, God doesn't exist.
You are informed. You are informed on the undestructible paper.
Adam. God doesn't
Okay.
exist.
So, Adam, I have a question
does.
for you. Let's say that we go get this piece of paper and we try to destroy it and we can't destroy it. How does that prove a God? Hello?
It
Did you hear
proves
my
God
question?
To me, yes, I did.
Why
proves
does
God
that
to
make you
him.
think there's a
Same
God?
thing- You can say the same thing for God appearing to you. He can appear to you, and you can say, how does that prove God?
You're right.
Right?
Yeah, and a good
Well,
skeptic
and I
would.
can tell you,
You're damn
God
right.
has appeared to me. This is God, this little pink unicorn right here. And this is actually God. She's really cute. She has little wings and sparkles. And she's
Can
God.
I say something?
Adam,
Can I say something?
Adam, I'm in the middle of talking
Can I
about
say
God
something?
right now. No, I'm talking about God. So here she is. She's very cute. Do you believe that this is God?
No.
Why not? She revealed herself to me. And this mug is
Because-
indestructible, actually.
Because at one point, you won't be able to say that. Like at one point, you will see this thing with God exists, and then you won't
No, I won't.
say this kind of thing.
Nope.
No, I won't, Adam.
So after
That's
that,
never gonna happen.
Hey, listen to me. After you die, 1,000 years, you live in paradise. Will you still be saying God doesn't exist?
No, because that's not going to happen. None of what you just described is going to happen.
Gonna happen.
After I die, Adam,
It's
after
gonna
I die, I'll only be dead. All you're doing is yelling the claims. You've not proven anything. But here's going to be the revealing question, Adam. I already told you if they could prove the indestructible piece of paper was actually indestructible, that would convert a lot of people. Here's the revealing question for you, Adam. Let's say I got the paper and I destroyed it. Would you then accept God does not exist?
No.
Exactly. So even in revert, you're saying this is the proof God exists, and yet your testimony wouldn't be changed if that isn't the case anyway. So you're telling me I need to go steal a holy document from people who are not going to be motivated to give it to me. You're not going to be able to get them to give it to me. And then even if I stop. You just gave the challenge and you said that that's what we need to do, steal and destroy it. And I told you if it was truly indestructible, that would actually, it wouldn't be good enough reason, and yet it would be for a lot of people. A lot of people would be converted. And you're saying this would be the proof of God. And yet, if I take this piece of paper and destroy it, doesn't change your point of view. It almost sounds like there's a confirmation bias thing going on, that you're basically saying anything that suggests my God doesn't actually exist, if that is shown to be true, I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm going to embrace only the evidence that suggests it is true, even if that evidence has never been demonstrated. I'm going to embrace the miracle of the indestructible piece of paper, even though no one has ever proven the piece of paper is indestructible. But should such time come that somebody destroys it, I will simply let it go. It only affects my faith in the affirmative, never in the negative.
Can I say something now?
That would be what my silence here is now for. Unlike when you've been trying to say stuff before in the middle of mine or promises sentences, when you hear that silence that you just asked, could you say something? Yes, that silence would be your cue to now say something.
So the indestructible paper holds 10 secrets that are going to happen. And Virgin Mary said that after this 10 secrets are completed, the fate on planet Earth will be like in ancient times.
Prove it.
Everyone will be converted.
Prove it.
Everyone who's converted, everyone who's living will be converted.
Prove it, Adam.
The third secret
You're
is
muted.
indestructible sign in Medjugorje.
Adam,
Prove it.
my unicorn goddess says that you're wrong. She says that that's not true.
She also says once you take your 1 millionth shit in your lifetime, you'll realize you are wrong and you will convert to the mug.
She did say that.
And then to get to heaven, you will actually have to find and steal that mug and shit in it.
She unfortunately also said that.
Did you hear about the rosary?
Adam, what did we just say?
Mercy?
Adam, what did we just say?
I'm listening.
What?
Adam.
What did we just say?
I didn't hear you.
You're
Yeah,
not
he didn't
listening
hear us.
to us,
Okay,
so
good.
why should we listen to you?
Adam, can you actually give us a reason that your God exists that is something you can actually prove?
Yes.
Go ahead. What can you actually prove?
Jesus promised to Saint Faustina Kowalska that if you pray Divine Mercy Rosary, that you will experience a part of His grace in a way that is supernatural. You will feel it, and
Yeah.
you will
So
especially
feelings.
feel it on the first Sunday.
Hey,
On the
Adam.
first Sunday after Easter.
Adam, I asked for proof, not
So
something
the
that
White
every
Sunday.
Adam, I asked for proof, not something that literally every single religion does. I grew up Mormon. We use the exact same claim. It's in Moroni chapter 10.
No.
And essentially the promise is if
That's
you
the
read
proof.
the book of Stop, Adam. If you read the Book of Mormon and ask God if it's true, he will bear witness. You will definitely get it confirmed and you will feel his truth. So apparently you think that proof comes in the form of something anybody can do for their claim, even if their claim contradicts another claim. That's not remotely interesting. Saying essentially, if you are religiously conditioned to feel that it is true and then you feel it, that is proof. I asked for proof, not feelings.
Hey, did you hear what I said about the rosary?
Yes, you said feelings are
pray
proof.
it and
That
you
if
get
you
the
pray
proof.
the rose, Adam, you tell me what I said about the
Holy
Book of
shit.
Mormon. Since you're asking if I heard what you said, as though I didn't engage it as though I heard it exactly, you now tell me what I said about the Book of Mormon.
And I reject Mormonism. That is heresy.
Nope, I'm sorry, that's not what I said. You tell me what I said about the Book of Mormon.
Can I be honest?
You weren't listening.
I don't care. I don't care
Great.
what you said.
Great, Adam, then I don't care what
That's
you
it.
say
Yeah,
at
bye.
all. You're having a one-sided trying to preach conversation. So if you're not going to listen to me, why should I have 1,000 people? This is my next question to you. I'm going to let you answer. If you aren't going to listen to what I said, why should I, by extension, give you an audience of 1,129 people live right now? Why should I let my audience listen to you if you won't listen to my counterpoints? Go ahead, Adam. Why should I, if you're not going to listen to me, why should we listen to you?
Okay, I'm listening to you. Okay.
Nope, that's not the question. You said you don't care. This was the third question we asked you what we just said, and you said you didn't know, and this time you said because you don't care. So if that's how you're going to engage, and you've apparently been engaging for the last 12 minutes, why should we keep you?
You are not leading quality discussion.
I'm not leading quality discussion. I muted you again. I'm not leading quality discussion. You just admitted that you don't listen to the opposition. You think discussion is when you get to say what you want to say unchallenged and not ever even listen and engage what your opponent says. I'm not leading quality discussion. Get the actual fuck out of here. Promise if you have anything else for him, you can, but
Nah,
we're not
this
so
next
desperate for calls that
call looks good.
we're not going to talk to a guy who admits he's not actually here for our input just to say his bullshit. Adam,
yeah, he's not
you
even
believe in a
answering our
lie.
questions.
You believe in a lie based on feelings. All right. Next one up. Oh, I forgot to do I'm supposed to be doing name tags. I'm producing, but we have a screener at least today. But next caller coming up is Samuel. Samuel from Nebraska. You're on the line with Jimmy and Promise. Samuel, first thing first, how old are you?
27.
All right. That seems old enough for me. And you're calling in to claim that MAGA is in fact better for women. Go ahead, build your house.
Yes. So, so maybe I'm like the last guy. I would like to understand you guys' arguments a little bit, because in my mind, it is very clear that the LGBT movement is very dangerous to children and the innocence of people in society, and is a very new phenomena. And it's my understanding that even amongst many people who have nothing to do with MAGA, that's still not even something they're very interested in. So when
real quick, Samuel, before we get started, are you still a Trump supporter when you say MAGA, or you're a MAGA values, but you've turned your back on Trump?
I don't vote.
Okay, but do you support Trump?
If I were talking amongst women about specifically respecting what they think and what they think's better for America, I would pretty much always side with them. Yeah, currently.
Let's ask this. Do you think that I should vote for, do you think I should have voted for Trump as a woman?
I mean, so this is why I don't vote, because I don't like, I don't think it matters. Like, I don't think it actually does anything. But I think in terms of you as a woman specifically,
Okay. Do you think that I should want Trump to be in office?
I mean, so this is a bit why I wanted to hear what you guys have to say, because I cannot understand how women can support the LGBT movement completely with.
I don't know what you're talking about. The movement.
I don't understand. Yeah. I don't understand how women think is better for women. Like how
well,
how women
I'm a
think
queer woman. First of all, I'm not straight, so you're losing me. There's lots of women that are not straight, so you're already losing me there.
You're bringing
I
in
also
as
don't
a
know what you
danger.
mean by movement. Yeah, you're saying
bringing it in
dangerous
as a
movement.
danger for children. So I'm curious, because we have a current administration, what has been worse for children? Donald Trump and his protection of the Epstein files, or queer people existing? I have a hard time when somebody calls in as MAGA and claims that they are in it for protecting children, brings up queer issues when statistically a child who has been sexually abused is most likely to have been sexually abused by a cisgender heterosexual man, not a trans man, not a queer man, a cisgender heterosexual man. So calling in and saying, I am concerned about children, when literally Donald Trump has made it clear that if you are rich enough, you get to be a pedophile in this country, I consider myself skeptical that children is actually what you care about. And I suspect, Samuel, I'm not going to assign this to you, but I'm going to tell you, when I hear this, what I actually think it is that you just independently hate queer people and want to oppress queer people because you find them disgusting. And so you will engage any talking point that seems powerful, and invoking children is powerful despite the fact that you won't have actual data to back up that queer people are a danger to children.
Right. So I wouldn't even, I mean, so I think this is one of the reasons why I don't vote, because I don't believe in the American political system. Because I think coming in and criticizing people who continue to be blindly faithful to Washington, D.C. at this point just are not paying attention. But
that's not who you're talking to right now. So talk to us about it.
Right. So, and I would not come in and say inherently that you don't even need child predation to continue explaining why the LGBT movement is harmful to women.
Great, explain it.
Because telling women that they are men is harmful to women. So
that's
Samuel,
not a thing.
Can you please tell us what you think? I'm really confused. So you think the LGBT movement, I guess that's what you're calling it, is telling children that they're what?
Well, so this is kind of what I wanted to understand from you guys a bit, because I've never really spoken with anyone about this to understand their actual arguments. Other than I understand the philosophy that gender is a spectrum, and people argue with from things that way. But by telling
okay, hang on, Samuel. Before we move forward, before we get to the T of it all, because that's what your side is always obsessed with. You're talking about gender specifically and trans people. Let's for a moment pretend they don't exist. L, G, and B, lesbians, gays, bisexuals. Do you consider that harmful to children?
That of and in itself, I would still consider it immoral, yes.
I didn't ask whether it was immoral. That's your religious belief, and that is on the basis of your religious belief, which if you want to get into that, then we have to investigate if your religion is true.
Okay.
But we live in a secular country with a secular constitution. People get to live according to their beliefs, and you don't get to dictate what other people do with their lives because in your home, you don't want anyone to be queer. So the question is, from the position that you're putting, like a societal, because the argument you just tried to make against trans people, despite it is wrong, but it still at least sounds secular, was nothing to do with morality and your religious beliefs. You're saying that they're going in and telling women that they're men. We'll get to that in a minute. LGB, them existing, being allowed to exist in society, are you considering them as harmful to children?
I would go past that, even to say that the United States government bringing a legitimate marriage contract into society is harmful. Yeah.
Okay. This is one of those things where you just don't want to actually engage the question. Because you saying that are you saying there should only be marriage contracts for straight people, or that specifically queer marriage is the thing that's harmful? Or you think there should be no marriage?
I mean, so if it was just LGBT, I think that's harmful. I think the fact that the United States government has given out marriage contracts for that is also harmful.
Why?
I'm trying to be.
And I'm so bored of the trans issue, because the trans issue is always, I don't actually understand what the trans issue is. I don't understand what transgender means. I don't understand where it comes from. I don't understand the difference between gender and sex. And we do that show all the time. If you really want to do the trans issue, call on Thursday when Luxander is here. Lux is trans, either on this show or the Transatlantic Call-In show over on the line. There are trans hosts there who are happy to educate you. I'm so bored of that topic, but it's what they do. You still think bisexual, which you have two bisexuals here, myself and Promise.
Yeah, I have a question on this.
And lesbian marriage is harmful to children.
So
why?
if I wanted to marry a woman, why is that harmful?
And she does want to.
Well, that ship has sailed, but
it's a long life.
I mean, it would be pretty much all the classic MAGA talking points of that's not the pattern.
Hey,
of
Samuel,
life
I got to stop you real quick because we don't have a lot of time and I'm very interested in this call, but you keep avoiding our questions. So if you can answer as directly as possible, we can have a better conversation. So my question to you is not you to say, oh, some MAGA talking points. I want to know from you, your opinion. Why do you think it would be harmful if I were to fall in love with another woman and decide that we want to legally be married? Why is that harmful?
It's not blessed under the covenant of Jesus Christ.
Is that how the Constitution works?
No.
Great. So you think it's harmful because your religion doesn't like it, as far as you know, because you don't actually know Jesus. You've never read a word Jesus wrote himself. You've never heard a word Jesus spoke himself. You've heard what a line of men have told you Jesus said. So why should a person believe?
And I'm an atheist, so I don't believe that that's true. So then why do I have to live under your moral law that doesn't relate to me whatsoever because I don't believe it's true and you don't have evidence that it is?
Sorry, I missed the. I'm not arguing that Washington D.C. should be placed under Christian control. I'm not
yes,
arguing that.
I'm sorry.
You
Yes, you are.
literally just argued that.
Samuel, did you or did you not present that it is wrong for the U.S. government to extend marriage licenses to queer people?
I think it's morally wrong. Yes.
Okay, but you do believe they should keep doing it then, correct? If it's only morally wrong, but shouldn't be legally wrong, you don't actually believe in abolishing gay marriage at the state level. You think the government should continue to engage in gay marriage, correct?
No. So if we're going to talk in
wait.
Nope,
you're not going to jump forward yet. We'll let you explain, Samuel. If you believe the government should stop, and that is on the basis of your covenant belief with Jesus, then you are in fact advocating for Christian control of the government, correct?
No, I don't have to be.
Then give us your secular reasoning why the government should engage in, or should stop extending marriage licenses to queer people. You cannot invoke God at all. If you're saying it doesn't have to be, I now need to hear your secular reasoning to not extend gay marriage to queer people.
So, for one, we have the name of God on all of our currency.
Nope, that's not a secular argument.
1954 or something like that.
That's not a secular reason. And by the way, Samuel, there are religions who believe that government marriage is a sin, that the government should not be, that only God endorses your marriages. And in fact, getting a marriage license, there are Christian sects that believe this, that getting a marriage license is actually blasphemous because it suggests that a government gets a say on a thing that only God gets a say on. So even if you go with God has been on our currency, which was added later, does not matter because it doesn't say which God or which tradition. So once again, even putting God, guess what? That God, gay as fuck. The God that's on our currency loves penis. He thinks they taste so good. So actually you, Samuel, that God insists you get gay married. The reason I'm making this point is there is no establishment of which God or what values on the currency, nor are we bound by what is printed on the currency legally. So once again, I'm going to give it back to you because you said I don't need to be. Give a secular, which means without God or supernatural reasoning, secular defense that the government should not extend marriage licenses to queer people for queer marriages.
So you said Constitution, this isn't attached to the church, and yet when I'm stating my preferences and how I would like to be represented by my own government, it keeps coming back and hitting this wall of like, so what if I ask for the cross to be representing me? If we have a constitution.
So Sam, you're being so incredibly dishonest because just a minute ago you told us that you're not advocating for a theocracy and you literally are. I don't understand the dishonesty there. Just that is what you're advocating for. So just say that.
Right, Samuel, my problem isn't that that's what you want represented. My problem is you told us that it isn't. You literally said, I'm not advocating for Christian control of the government. Now you're saying you are, and that, so when I tell you that I do prefer that representation, that isn't what you told us. You've lied. So now clear it up, take your lie back and say, I do want to live in a Christian theocratic America. They're against queer people existing, and that is why I have that position. I don't have secular reasoning. That's fine to admit. I already know that's the case with people like you, Samuel. It won't surprise me. We'll just take the argument actually on what you actually believe and go from there instead of wasting now 14 minutes on you pretending that that's not what you believe.
So I'm not sure why you're getting upset, but I could tell you
I'm not upset
for the sake of clarifying, but I think it's a major rub between these two parties religiously.
I'm not in either of those parties.
That might be helpful. Okay, phenomenal.
Are you going to engage what we just said? Samuel, will you admit that you do believe the church, your Christian tradition, should be represented in government as that not just represented, laws should be passed according to your religious beliefs?
You're saying you want a fair constitutional fight, right?
Samuel, let me ask it this way, and this is a yes or no question. So if you can't answer this, then we know that you're just determined to be dishonest. Do you think that the U.S. should be run based off of Christian values?
That the
yes
U.S.
or no?
should be run off of... I think it should remove the cross and just actually say it's secular. Because I am tired of Christians thinking it's Christian.
Samuel,
holy fuck, really you cannot answer a question.
Samuel, the government is secular. America is recognized as a secular country. The people who are saying it's a Christian country are the people like you, the Christians who insist it is or should be. Literally, we have to bring up the Tripoli Treaty all the fucking time on this show because people will say it was established as a Christian country. And then we have to bring up that one of the founding fathers literally in a treaty said, no, it isn't. It never was. It can't be considered that. So any declaration you need has been made. The government has made it clear that it is a secular government, but you have sat here and said it isn't a secular government. It shouldn't be a secular government because
the government continues to write legislation affecting the laws of the cross that affect the bodies of Christians. In the state of Nebraska, we have a crucifix inside our Capitol. It's been there since it was created, and we're the only unicameral state. So you
believe that we should have a total abolition of religious symbolism inside any like state public government place and just go purely secular? Great, let's do it.
Please, let's remove the crosses. Let's get rid of 10 Commandments, all of it.
Yes. In fact, I would go so far as to say, Samuel, that it's probably unconstitutional having a giant cross in the Nebraska State House unless I can go and put up a giant statue of whatever my religious symbol is next to it.
And I think more presidents should be like Trump when he kept his hand off the Bible. I don't think they should use the Bible to swear in.
You're good with all that, Samuel? We're just going to abolish religion. And then you will say that the government that happens after abolishing religion from government should not prevent queer people from getting married, correct?
I think that would be better for Christians. I think it would make it simpler. I think it would still be detrimental to society, but for my part of the world,
see, this is a new argument. This is a new argument. Why would it be detrimental to society? Because this is not a thing that basically, Samuel, is your argument it would be detrimental to society because the only thing that isn't detrimental to society is everybody practicing my religion?
I mean, my religion's the true religion, so
great. Prove it.
I'm just going to be a stone wall on that.
Why do you think that it's true?
Yeah, prove it. Prove your religion's true.
You want proof? It's the largest. It's the most stable. It's been around for the longest. It's done the most good. And it's the only moral code
you're Hindu?
has solved barbarianism.
You're Hindu?
What's that?
You're Hindu?
Catholic.
You said it's the oldest and most stable. Hinduism is older and has existed in has existed much longer. Did you mean the oldest white one?
As a governing structure.
Hinduism.
I will take
Hinduism is older.
Yeah,
it's not Catholicism. Hinduism is older. And by the way, as far as actual current form of Catholicism is as different now to when it originated as any two religions are. So also, even modern day Catholicism is a very recent, within the last century or two. This Pope would never do the Crusades or shit like that. So also it's kind of bullshit in the first place because Catholicism isn't Catholicism anymore. Arguably, Islam is older than Catholicism because there are still adherents to Islam that adhere to its original principles. Catholicism holds no such claim.
Yeah, can I ask, Samuel, so when Christianity first formed, like let's say 50 years into Christianity, when it wasn't so stable, it wasn't the most popular, and it wasn't very old at all, was it less true then?
No.
Okay, so then what are the actual reasons that the religion is true? Because we just ruled those three things out.
Because we have the flesh of the Son of Man that is given to us to eat every day, and that will continue to be provided until the wrath of the Lord is brought upon the human race.
So if I were to pull the Eucharist out of your stomach and DNA test it, will I get a human man or will I get that this is a cracker?
You'd have to actually have a host where a real miracle has occurred, but you can find them where it will actually come back as DNA flesh, as heart tissue.
Where?
The last one I recall happened in Bolivia. You can actually look it up if you want. But I don't.
Here's the thing. here's the thing. I've looked all of them up, and none of them have actually documented. There is no procedure. You are believing those based on faith because they don't document every step of the way. And there are so many cases where a person who is motivated to lie can swap in heart tissue. Why can't we do a full-on experiment? Why can't the transubstantiation be fully documented, start to finish, with no chances of anybody mucking it up?
We could ask priests about it. I seriously doubt they would have a problem with outsiders wanting to have stronger evidence for that.
Why don't they do it then? Why doesn't the Pope go and do it for the whole world?
Well, one, it doesn't happen.
Make a fail-proof fail-proof experiment of this, and prove that that's what's actually happening.
So this doesn't happen on human time, which I know probably won't mean too much if you don't have faith in it. The other part is, last one I read about, it was sent to a atheist who had nothing to do with the church and wasn't even told what the sample was. But again, I understand you don't have to be a part.
Samuel, that was the dumb. If you send me a sample to test, and I test it, and I don't know what the sample, I've been given no other information, just tell us what this is. And I send back and I say, this sample are heart cells from a human. This is heart tissue. How would that prove you were sent the Eucharist and not sent heart tissue?
Look, you aren't speaking in good faith on behalf of these people. I'm not interested
Samuel,
in
of course I'm not. Samuel,
maybe
you
being
are
liars
claiming
every step of the way.
Samuel, you are claiming magic happened. The only explanation that's ever been proven for claims of magic has been lying. So of course, the actual natural explanation, if you claim magic happens, the most reasonable position to take is that it is based on somebody somewhere has lied to make this happen. That's not bad faith. That's actually good faith, because that's the only thing that has ever been proven to happen when people make a magical claim. And so when you say it is this magical claim happened, I am a better skeptic if I say you need to now prove that nobody lied along the way, that this was documented, that this was a good experiment done. Because if at any point you have to say you're engaging in bad faith because you won't grant that the magic happened before, that the time where I'm saying the magic happened, that there's no documentation isn't a problem. You just need to after. I tell people that I created diamonds from water by holding it in my hand. And I sent a diamond to an atheist, and he confirmed that what he tested was a diamond and not water. You would not sit here and say, I in good faith will grant you that the water to diamond transformation happened because after you had a diamond tested. You would suspect a liar, because those are the actual reasonable explanations for magic happening. But you want special treatment because you believe it's true, when you would not extend that out otherwise.
You know, I'm not required by my God to go through and have super detailed this, that all the time. But I can.
I mean, if you believe the Bible, it actually does tell you that you're supposed to have an answer for your faith and be ready for it, with it at all times.
Right.
So
ready to defend it.
Maybe you don't
So
adhere to
when
it.
I say it's a mysterious miracle, you guys just are not okay with there being mystery and a massive amount of faith.
Samuel, I'm not okay.
Samuel,
I'm not okay with explanations that have never been proven to be possible. If you tell me this happened because magic, I'm going to say you need to prove it. Prove that it was magic. Because there are natural explanations that are way more likely. And then
I tell you
Samuel,
that professionals have documented this and have had third parties bring it in, and you're still demanding that everything.
Excuse me, that wasn't your example. Your example was not that they documented the transformation, that they traced it along the way. Your example was that a person at the end of the process tested tissue, and it was in fact heart tissue. I am holding a knife, Samuel. It's a pocket knife. I didn't order it from Amazon. I magically made it appear. If I send it to you and you test it and it is a knife, am I magic?
No.
But you tested it and it was a knife.
Yeah, but it wasn't Jesus Christ.
No, I am Jesus Christ. Look at me.
Also,
Do you eat his flesh and drink his blood?
No, I'm Jesus. Why would I eat my own flesh and blood? I am Jesus Christ.
Jesus ate his own flesh and drank his own blood.
No, he didn't.
what are you talking
At the
about?
last
Not any more than the
Samuel.
average human does. I am Jesus Christ. You can't tell me what I did. I did it. I'm the authority on what Jesus Christ did. I'm Jesus Christ. Prove I'm wrong. Prove I'm wrong, and I didn't magically summon this knife. I'll send you the knife to test it and tell me whether or not it is in fact a knife. As
Look,
long as you say that if you,
talking-
after testing, you will accept that I am Jesus Christ, we'll be good.
I'm talking about how we can have different fun. I mean, to me, I'm talking about fundamentally 50 different constitutions of the United States, where all of the people are showing that they have very serious disagreements.
Wait till you find
None
out
of
how
us
many
need
versions of
you-
Catholicism there are.
Yeah.
None of us need you to
No,
respect.
we
the
changed the
specific
subject
beliefs.
way too quickly, Samuel. We were just in the middle of talking about this thing that you
Right,
brought
but
up, this
you-
miracle.
you guys
and my
have-
you guys I have a question for
refused
you.
to
I'll
answer
grant
my
you.
question.
I that's fine. That's not, we're the host, so we get to decide how this goes.
Also,
My
no, we
question for you,
didn't.
Samuel. My question though for you, Samuel, is so let's say that that's what's happening, that it's turning to human flesh and blood. I understand that you believe this is happening. I get it. We're not going to agree on this. I want to know, what do you think is the purpose of that happening? Just out of curiosity.
I think the purpose of that happening is for the rest of humanity to actually understand the suffering that the rest of humanity continues to labor under, so they can realize that there's an easier way to live.
And do you think that is the best way this all-powerful, all-knowing God came up with to teach that? Well, we won't even get into what a ridiculous lesson that is. But do you think that this method, which is so far not detectable in a way that would convince the majority of people, something your own Pope can't seem to pull off for the world to see, this is the method that an all-powerful God chose?
That is the proof and the residual teaching he has left for those who have ears to hear.
Why
No,
did he
faith.
pick such
Not
really
ears, faith.
shitty proof?
Right. Literally, your proof broke down as soon as we asked for the proof to be definitive. You need us to grant magic happened in the middle, and the proof is at the end after the magic supposedly happened. So not proof.
Well,
Faith.
the power he also brought with was, in your words, to be able to do magic. You know, so if you're calling miracles magic, then God already did a lot of magic and then decided he didn't need to continue doing it constantly and all of the time.
Convenient.
So he gave us the eternal mystery.
Why did
of
he
the
choose
Eucharist.
to stop doing that before the information age, when we're actually able to share knowledge as easily as we are today and share evidence and get information around quickly? Why did he choose to do it at a time when we can't actually verify that those things happened?
The world formally rejected him. All the nations, all the people, even his
Can you
own
answer
chosen
my
people
question?
rejected
Can
him.
you
He'll
answer
never-
my question, Samuel?
Samuel will
Well,
never answer a
the-
question.
They were rejected. They would have continued to be rejected. And as far as I know,
Samuel.
he simply prophesied that things are going to continue to get worse. So I don't know what his all-knowing plan is and why he chose to do that. I don't know why he chose Rome.
Do you think
as
an
the place for
all-knowing
him.
God would be able to come up with a really good plan to offer evidence to his creations? Do you think an all-knowing God would know what kind of evidence his different creations would require in order to have their minds changed?
I mean, I don't see what this has to do with it, but yeah.
Then why didn't he do that? Why are there so many people that are unconvinced? Does God know what it would take to convince me that he exists?
Well, he's fine sending people to hell and having people who are unworthy to participate in the celebration.
Okay, then why? So
of
why
the
create?
consumption of his own
Why
son.
create those people? Does God enjoy people going to hell?
I don't think he particularly enjoys them. No, but humans.
So then why does
have
he choose to
standing.
create people? Why does he choose to create people that he knows will not be convinced and will therefore end up in eternal torment?
Because humans have sinned and invoked first.
That's not answering my
name
question,
of the-
Samuel. Why
Yeah,
would a
that-
God?
that-
So does God know something
Humans
before it
sinned
ever
first,
even?
though.
Samuel.
God,
So
wait.
God is
That's
not
not even
all-knowing.
true, though. God
So you-
created humans to sin. Why did God create sinners?
God created humans without sin, and then humans sinned.
Then he
What-
didn't create them without
Sam-
sin.
Yeah, so let me ask you this, Samuel. Does God know before someone is born if they are going to hell or not?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I think you should think about that, because if you think that he does,
Yes, he does know.
then
He's lying.
he's creating people just to send them to hell, because he could choose to just not create that particular person. And if he's if he's creating them and he just doesn't know where they're going to end up, he's not all-knowing. So then you need to reevaluate your God claim.
Samuel's lying about
The
if he was
people-
in church talking to another believer, Samuel wouldn't have hesitated on these questions. He's feigning ignorance because he knows it will be contradictory, because he's sitting here telling us things about obscure Catholic beliefs that even the church doesn't endorse. They don't endorse any of the recent claims of transubstantiation. The most recent claim that they do actually stand behind is a 16th century claim. So Samuel knows that these things would undermine him. To tell you the truth, I know that this is like the thing more of in your interest. What the actual like details of these things are never interest me, because at the end of the day, Catholicism isn't true and Samuel can't present that it's true. So like what the details of like, oh, and the God of blah, 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 blah. Samuel has said that the government, that people would be better because his religion is true, and is yet to actually prove it is true.
Sure, let's switch back to that.
Samuel, why should I believe that Catholicism is true?
So, firstly, your 16th century part, that's not true. The last
Great.
one I've heard about was from the 1980s. The
Go
second
ahead.
part
No, hang on. Nope. You don't get it. The second part isn't shot by. I said endorsed by the church. You hearing about transubstantiation and the church going out and priests and whatever else. But the Vatican has not claimed a miracle of transubstantiation of the Eucharist specifically since the 16th century.
You're saying specifically with the approval of Rome? Okay, that's fine.
Yes, the actual religious authority, not people going like, yeah, we went there, and it could be. It would need to be the Pope and not Joe,
authority.
For example. And there's a reason why, by the way. Why is the miracle good enough for you to say it's true, but not for the Vatican? It's interesting.
Would it matter to you if the popes, they still said it happened in the 1600s, it happened a long time ago? Would that change your heart, though?
If they were to say it happened now, no, my heart would be the same. If they actually proved it happened, that would fuck me up and make me question things. My question for then and now is the same whether the Pope endorses it. The problem with the Pope not endorsing it is yours. I don't believe in the Pope. You do. And the fact that the Pope is not willing to claim that the same events you're willing to definitively claim are factual proof means there's something holding him back from doing so. Something from holding the Vatican back from doing so. And I suspect it is fear that claiming will invite further investigation, and further investigation will prove it actually is false. And now they will have claimed that divine intervention told them something was true, and we have now secularly tested it and proven that their divine intervention is false. That's my suspicion. But I don't accept the Pope as an authority. You do. So it would be you who needs to wrestle with why the Pope doesn't endorse it.
Okay. I mean, if it's not going to change your heart, it's not going to change your heart.
Why would what the Pope think changes my heart?
I will look it up.
Why would it?
I will look it up because
why
would it change your heart?
Why would what the Pope says change my heart? You're the one who believes in the Pope. This is like me saying like, oh, so if I accept evolution and you don't, me asking the same thing back, would it change if a magical bunny turned into a, which isn't a thing evolution actually even claims, but me going back, would you change if the evidence is slightly tweaks this way when at its core, you don't accept evolution in the first place? You're Catholic. I hope you do, since the Pope does.
I think the RNA hypothesis is the best working one for the origination of life molecularly, if you have got a better one.
Tight. Okay. Back to why should I believe that that we'll just do Catholicism is true, because I don't even believe God exists. In fact, I believe the evidence shows that most likely no gods exist and that it's a human invention, the idea of gods.
So if I ask a question, are you gonna get upset, or can I ask a question about your constitutional beliefs?
You're going to answer my question.
And that was?
I just asked it. It was seconds ago. Are you not listening?
I had an answer ready for the one about people being sent to hell or not, because I was still talking about that.
Why should I believe Catholicism is true?
Because if you don't, you're inviting the wrath of God upon you now and until you die and after you die.
So only on the basis of a threat, not because it is presented as true. But that threat exists in Islam. That threat exists in different versions of Christianity. So how do I decide which of the religions that have that threat is true, or if they're all lying to me?
It could also be the threat from my God over here. So
yes, it is a threat.
It's not only a threat, because we also think you're a crueler person whose life is being made harder by not recognizing that the Eucharist is the actual blood of your own brothers.
I think Catholics are crueler than secular humanists. So you're just going with the feelings thing because you like Catholicism more. I think secular humanism is morally superior and more defensible than for example, thou
certainly
shalt not
cares
kill.
for children, by the way. He called in originally caring about children, but now he's defending the Catholic Church, which is one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Luckily, the Catholic Church has never proven to be statistically more dangerous for a child than, for example, queer people. Who would have that data? Samuel, secular humanism is superior to Catholic morality in basically every way. We have an actual reason why you shouldn't murder. In Catholicism, it is you shouldn't murder. Why? Because God says not to. Okay, why doesn't God think you should? He doesn't have a reason. He just tells you not to. Right, but what's his justification for it? He doesn't have to. He's God. Okay, well, I have justifications for why you shouldn't kill, about violating autonomy, about maximizing well-being. I have actual reasons. Your morality has, that guy says so. Okay, what's his reasoning? We don't know. So Catholicism is far inferior to a secular, a secular morality like secular humanism. So that's not going to work. So far you've gone with threat and how you feel about a morality versus a morality you clearly don't understand. So now what factual basis, because you said yours is true, right? Yours is true. You think it's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So it's not just a belief. It's not just a faith. It is factually true. What factual basis do you have to prove that is true, that isn't a threat and isn't you feeling like it's a better moral system when you wouldn't actually be able to defend that?
I mean, it's not, I still don't think it's a threat. I think it's a warning out of love. And we're going to disagree on you saying secular, because that secular humanism, again, that's fallen out of nowhere. There's not had a way to enforce it. It's not had a way to actually do anything seriously in Western history or anything else.
Yep, it does. Everything you just said is incorrect. Like I said, you don't understand secular humanism. So now back to my question. What factual basis? I only believe things that can be demonstrated to be factual, especially when it comes to these giant things like, does God exist? Facts are all that does it for me. What factual basis should I believe that Catholicism is true?
I mean, the best case you're going to get from me is that it is the largest body of collective witnesses chanting and repeating the same thing. And
what about when it was the
given
smallest? When it was the smallest, was it less true then?
He asked me for a fact that he could use, that he can see with his own eyes. And
why can't you answer this question? Because you know that it shows that the thing you just brought up is not actually a fact that's helpful at all.
Right.
It doesn't prove anything.
And Samuel, literally every single one of the witnesses you just invoked do not bear witness to a factual basis. They are also believing on faith. Do you know what argument ad populum means?
I know it's Latin and it comes from Rome.
Okay, it's also a logical fallacy. It basically goes like this. This is true because more people believe it's true than don't believe it's true. So was Hinduism, as Promise was kind of asking you, when Hinduism was the most popular religion in the world and had the most people bearing witnesses of it, was Hinduism true?
I mean, I would say it had truth inside of it, absolutely, but the truth has been completed.
Nope. You are trying to obfuscate. You are being terribly pedantic. Hinduism makes specific claims about specific gods existing. When it was the most popular thing to bear witness to, that those gods existed, did those gods exist?
Look, I'm just going to say they're reflections of an eternal spirit that we're not fully enlightened yet.
It's making you look really bad that you can't honestly answer these very straightforward questions that I guarantee you everyone in the comments is going to be like, hello, obviously he doesn't think that those gods existed then. He just doesn't want to admit to it because it's about to ruin his own argument because he doesn't actually have evidence. But Can you just admit the truth?
I actually like it. Actually, I like it, Samuel. So here's what I'm going to tell you, Samuel. You actually do have a glimmer of the truth. There is a God, there is a Jesus, but you don't actually have the full one. So in the same way that you say Hinduism was true, in that way, that's actually how Catholicism is true. The greater truth is that I'm Jesus Christ. Me, the guy you're talking to right now. I'm Jesus.
That's
I made the knife appear.
I'm a witness.
And yep.
I have 499 friends too that can back me out as a witness on this, by the way.
So
just
it
take
is
my word for
written. You have just a glimmer of the truth. And I actually now have as much evidence for being Jesus Christ, Samuel, as you do for Catholicism. You just have a glimmer of the truth.
You believe in God.
I am Jesus. I am God.
So you believe in God.
I am God. Okay. I'm subject to no man. I'm God. I believe in God as soon as you accept that I am God and you profess. If you accept I'm God, then yes, I believe in God. Profess your faith in me. So it's like Tinkerbell.
It seems like you're giving me a lot of power over you.
It's like Tinkerbell. Do you accept my existence, Samuel? Cool. If you don't accept me as God, you will burn forever. Just so you know. If you don't accept me as God, you will be tortured in the pit.
I don't think you're worthy.
I decide who's worthy. I decide who's worthy because I'm God. You don't get to tell me who's worthy. I am the person who decides, and I am the most worthy, whoever exists.
And I wrote a book saying that he's worthy, so now it's definitely true.
Samuel, do you see how when we just modernize your stupid arguments, you realize they're stupid? So now I'm going to once again ask, upon what factual basis, and a factual basis wouldn't be, a lot of people have said they believe it's true, also not on factual bases, but on faith. Upon what factual basis, like the same factual basis I can test something like evolution, upon the same factual basis you accept pretty much probably anything that you accept as a fact outside of your religious beliefs. The oven is hot. Traffic is annoying. Upon what factual, well, that one's actually more subjective. Some people could love traffic. Upon what factual basis can you actually demonstrate to me, a person who will not believe unless you can prove to me that God exists and that Catholicism is true? And I accept lots of things as true on that basis. So I am not unreachable. That is a lie of the religious. Upon what factual basis, because you said it is true, can you prove it?
So I thought we were going to be talking about MAGA, and I feel like this is just you demanding that I have an answer
But
to
you
prove
called
something to
in
you.
and you turned your argument for MAGA over to religion. You outsourced. You didn't give us facts then. We asked you for facts. Why shouldn't I be able to marry a woman? And you immediately deferred to religion. That's why we're talking about religion now. But you're unable to answer our question, so you
Not
keep
even
wiggling
now.
away.
Still, we're still talking about MAGA. You said that's where you line up. You have these beliefs. Those beliefs are based on your religion, and that's how the government should run. My contention is the government shouldn't run that way because your religious beliefs aren't true. You say they are true. Okay. So for your MAGA argument, you need only prove that your religious beliefs are true, and then I will adhere to them and I will advocate for your political positions. It's the same conversation.
So I called with a specific question I had to try and understand you guys in a productive way, which you didn't want to answer.
What was the question you're saying we didn't answer? Because I think you're full of shit.
I don't understand how people think that it is beneficial to women to tell them that they are men and create a society where that
nobody tells women they're
Nobody
men.
has ever told me that I'm a man. That has never happened to me.
There are people who mistook themselves. Great. So, because you don't understand the situation, Samuel, there are people who believed they were women because they were indoctrinated with gender beliefs that are not true, that come from your untrue religion, which means we will have to go back to your religion to finish this conversation. But your untrue religious beliefs are not actually what is true about gender. Gender and sex are different. Do you know that? What is the difference between gender and sex, Samuel?
Right. There is none. You're making that up.
Right. No, your religion claims there is none, but modern science claims there is. So what is the scientific representation of the difference between gender and sex?
There is no objective in objective reality, there is no difference between gender and sex.
What does science say the difference is?
Between the two sexes, it's
what
a
does
black
science?
and white binary.
That's not the question. Nope.
It's a black and white binary about the nature of reality.
Excuse me, Samuel.
It's
even if you
not.
don't accept that trans people exist, sex is not a black and white binary. Even without the gender conversation, you're already not right. Because a black and white binary means that there are no conditions that cause variation. So let's prove that, Samuel, you don't even know shit about sex. What makes a person by sex male?
An X and a Y chromosome.
Great. If an individual is born with an X and an X chromosome, but has a penis, are they a man or a woman? Or are they a male or a female?
You guys get so down into the weeds.
Nope, Samuel, this is not down into the weeds. You said black and white binary, so we're testing if you know whether that is true or not. We're not even talking about trans. You made a claim. So yes, we're in the weeds to prove you don't know the difference. So I will ask you again, Samuel, and you'll answer our question. I'll give you a better one because this one happens more often. There is an individual born. They have an X and a Y chromosome. They also have a vagina, a uterus, and they give birth to a child. XY chromosome, is that a man or a woman to you? Is that a male or a female?
Look, either way, you've got to answer it in black and white because it's got to be a male or it's got to be female.
No, you don't. This is the actual point. Actually, Samuel, you don't have to.
Yes, you have to because of what you've committed yourself to, and that's sad.
You've claimed that they are one or the other. We actually have a term for the people who aren't cleanly one or the other. And by the way, we also allow people to sort of decide. If you are born with an XY chromosome, but you have a uterus, that works and can give birth. Many of those individuals, perhaps even most, tend to identify as female because they are experiencing the female schema, if you will. And because there are so many things about, so usually they will say, well, I'm a mom, I'm having babies. Yeah. Female's what makes sense for me. In fact, the chromosome thing was a surprise because it turns out you can't actually guess your chromosomes. In fact, Samuel, you don't know whether you are a male because you don't know that you for sure, because there's nobody actually gets their chromosome sequenced, and I'll be able to prove you didn't if you claim you do. You don't actually know you have XY chromosomes. You're guessing you do because presumably you have a wiener. No matter how impressive or unimpressive it is, you have one. And so you're guessing you have an XY chromosome, but you don't even know that you're male.
And you guys are crazy. You're calling me crazy and saying I have no proof.
Excellent rebuttal, Samuel. I just presented you nothing but scientific facts. I've just presented you nothing but a scientific facts, and you went with, you guys are crazy. We're not even talking about if trans people exist. We're talking about if intersex people exist right now, which you have said is a black and white binary.
I'm talking about men like you who think you have the right to molest the virginity of other men's mothers and walk around in broad daylight, throwing around, hiding behind pens and other people's work, thinking that you're a moral victor because you have made it your life goal to disregard, disavow the holiest thing that God ever given. And
Samuel, Samuel. Samuel, sorry, I got to mute you there, bud, and we're going to move on here in a moment. Samuel, you were supposed to be making a secular argument, and you just got mad that we were talking about God, and then you invoke God. I just gave you nothing but science, and you are currently melting down and making claims about me that you don't know.
He has fantasies about you, apparently. He's like really put thought into this.
No shit. Samuel, I don't know that you could have lost harder, because all I presented you said sex is a clear black and white binary. I proved to you it wasn't. And your response is, you're crazy and you want to molest mothers, apparently?
That was the weirdest.
First of all, Samuel, your mother would consent. Look at me. I am the Christ. Your mother wants it, Samuel, from me. But she's never going to get it. Or maybe she will. I like to keep her on her toes.
Or maybe she did already, and he just needs to take it on faith.
Samuel, honestly, the reason why I'm not going to bang your mom is I already banged your dad. Samuel, it just feels, it's too messy. Samuel, you literally are melting down. Why are we talking about God? You brought up a topic that you said, I want to know what your justification is. I gave you only science and proved you don't know what the basics of this topic, and that your claim that it is a black and white binary is untrue. And you responded with, you guys are crazy. You want to molest my mom and the God's holy way. Samuel, you are a joke. Would you like to ask me how fucking your dad was? You were muted that whole time if you thought anybody could hear.
You're forgetting that Christians are some of the strongest advocates for transgenders. You haven't even talked about that.
Samuel, why would that have come up in this conversation? Hey, Samuel, why haven't you, wait, Samuel, you're forgetting that atheists are some of the biggest advocates for Gaza. Why haven't you talked about that? Oh, because it didn't come up in this conversation, maybe? That could be it. I don't know. All right, bye, Samuel. This was not a pleasure, but we have enough time to take maybe one more call.
Oh, that was really rough.
Chris, we'll maybe do you another day, because I'm pretty sure I've seen you. I think you called the other show the other day, and you're just kind of a preacher saying with end time predictions that World War III. I think you already called the other show with that. So we're going to take Lucian in Texas. Lucian in Texas, you're on the line. Hang on. You're on the line with Jimmy and Promise. How old are you, Lucian?
I am 18.
And your pronouns?
He, him.
Excellent. Is sex a black and white non-binary? Sorry, a sex and white binary with no exceptions?
Is sex a black and white binary?
With zero exceptions. Do intersex people exist?
I think there are some slight situations where you could, perhaps, but I think the chromosome thing.
Great, Lucian, you're already better than the last caller. Okay, what point did you want to call in on?
Yeah, I think abortion's wrong. I think it's murder.
Why?
Because the taking of an innocent human life is wrong.
No, it isn't.
Why is it? Tell me how it could be. What's the difference between killing a fetus and then killing you?
Personhood.
Okay, now let's go into this one conversation. When does someone become a person?
Birth.
Birth. So 2 seconds. Where if you can already see the head of the baby, you know, while the woman is giving birth, is it a person?
Sure.
But you just said birth.
Yep.
It's not birthed yet.
Yeah, it is. It's birthed enough.
If you can
So,
see the head, it's through the birth
visibility
canal.
before birth.
Hey, Lucian, here's how I know you're not in good faith. Because you're immediately going to try to defend whether abortion is okay or not based on whether or not you can abort a baby while it's being born. And that's not a problem society is facing. The actual reality is when it comes to rights, you are granted rights and you are granted personhood legally at the moment of birth. That's why you don't owe child support before birth and many other things. So when we're talking about legal rights, it happens at the moment of birth. If you want to talk about a moral thing, I have long said that while I would not make it illegal, generally, once the brain of an individual has reached a level of consciousness and participation, if it is a person you wouldn't take off of life support, you should at least consider what you are doing and what your reasons for your abortion is. If it was a full-on person who was like in a coma, but they didn't reach that level of brain death that a fetus has, you should at least consider what you're doing. But late-term abortions are actually some of the most important abortions to maintain because late-term abortions happen either because somebody is going to be killed or dramatically affected and hurt by a birth, but even more often because it is found out that the fetus has something like undeveloped kidneys, and were you to give birth and make it rely on its own organs, the only thing that that child is going to have happen is they are going to drown on their own blood in front of you and die. They are destined for death. So you can, as what is very much an act of compassion, instead have them go to sleep, generally still deliver. That is not one of the types of abortions where they're usually taking them out in pieces. Generally still deliver
I'm not really
in some
here to
way.
talk about special cases.
Well,
I understand
Lucian,
those
you
cases
went to
exist.
late-term abortion up to the moment. You've already been given
Yeah,
the
they're
clarification,
immediate.
and I'm proving that you are bad faith. Personhood is legally granted to you when you are born. From a moral perspective, doctors have a do no harm clause as well. Late-term abortions that don't need to kill the baby are just called deliveries. You're aborting the baby. They may induce early. They aren't arbitrarily killing late-term abortions. Prior to the moment that the brain clicks on around 20 weeks, I don't think there's anything immoral about killing that thing. It's not a person. It has no consciousness. Do whatever you want. Do it for fun if you want.
Is it
I don't
And
care.
I'm going to have a slightly different take on this. So mine is that I think that the autonomy of people should not be superseded by a fetus. So I think we should have equal rights. I don't think a fetus
What does
should have
fetus mean in
more
Latin?
rights. I'm in the middle of telling you my point. I don't think that a fetus
There's no difference between
should
a
have.
fetus and a human.
I
It just
am in
means
the
little
middle of telling you my point. If you're going to interrupt me, then I will ask Jimmy that we move on to another call because you just listened to Jimmy.
Okay,
so now
I
you
won't
can
interrupt
listen.
you. Sorry.
I know
Thank
why
you.
he's interrupting you and not me.
Yeah, I wonder. So I now I'm losing my train of thought. That's why I didn't want you to interrupt me. I don't think that a fetus or a baby, you can call it whatever you want, or a grown-ass man should have more rights than another person. So let's say that Jimmy has a condition where he needs specifically my blood in order to stay alive. I don't think that I should be legally required to be giving my blood to Jimmy. I don't think I should be legally required to donate my organs, and I certainly don't think I should be legally required to house another being. I don't care if it's a fetus or if it's a 100-year-old man that could cure cancer and solve world hunger. It's still not a legal thing that you can put on somebody. I don't care if you just think it's wrong. Like, that's when we get into the morality aspect, and I think that that is not interesting to me. I
Well,
care
yeah,
about what is legal or not. And we don't have Jimmy already pointed out the late term abortion situation, which is like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of abortions. At a certain point, it's no longer abortion anyways. Somebody can, if the fetus can survive on its own, then people are just giving birth and the baby is going on and living its life. We don't have abortions at 9 months. That's not a thing. It's a really bad talking point because it doesn't happen.
That was my point. My point was those people were drawing like a line of when a baby becomes a baby. I mean, when someone.
But did you hear my point? Because my point is that I don't care.
Move to somewhere else. Your connection sounds like absolute dog shit.
I also don't think he was listening to me if that's the immediate point he's going to.
I know. He wasn't. By the way, for the record, I don't disagree with the autonomy argument
Why
either.
do you arbitrarily give right to something, and then 1 second it's morally acceptable, 1 second it's not morally acceptable?
It's not arbitrary.
Did you hear? But you didn't even hear my argument.
Right. Can you summarize
my argument was,
Promise's argument back to us, please?
Your argument is basically a bodily autonomy argument that
explain it.
Mothers shouldn't be forced to provide for another human being, no matter who it is, or a mother shouldn't be forced.
I never even used the word mother, not once.
You're now just trying to, you're now trying to just explain what you understand is the bodily autonomy argument. She articulated it very well and very clearly, and you're failing to repeat it because you weren't listening. I get it. Ladies, their voices are so shrill. Am I right? Correct. Like, come on, man. It doesn't matter what, that you listen. What were you saying? Question. No, you're avoiding. You literally. Excuse me,
Lucian. I just gave you a whole thing. You talked over me from the moment.
You're not making questions. Stop being.
I'm muting him. I can't. Lucian, I'm not doing this.
You literally proved you didn't listen to her point. You don't get to have it proven that you weren't listening in the first place, and then go, "I have a question." We launch off of that to discover whether or not you were listening. It's revealed you weren't, and then go, "You're avoiding the question." You're not trying to engage. You're not trying to listen. You're just trying to be heard. You're using words wrong. Nobody has ever arbitrarily assigned shit. And the autonomy argument that she just gave has nothing to do with personhood. In fact, personhood doesn't even matter regarding the autonomy argument. The only thing as far as the autonomy, the personhood, where personhood comes into play, is that there is a difference between a legal establishment and when a person should feel more compelled to be considerate of what they are doing, and that there is a difference between that moral and legal one. You didn't listen at all, and then to go like you're trying to avoid the question when we're trying to make sure you're fucking listening to us in the first place, because you won't be able to ask good informed questions unless you are, and we've already shown that you are not. Goodness sakes. You can unmute him if you want. You know, it is what it is.
Can I ask him a question?
Yeah, obviously.
You're on mute right now, Lucian, but I'm about to unmute you. I would like for you to summarize, like Jimmy asked, what my argument, what my position is.
Specifically what she said, too, not your interpretation of a bodily autonomy argument.
Okay,
so you
sure.
listened.
I'll try to be I have extreme ADHD, so sometimes I don't listen, but I'll get it correctly.
Would you like her to repeat it then? If you want to say your disability prevented you from doing so, and you want to throw a disability under the bus as you're talking to a person with autism and another person with ADHD who has had no problem listening to you, if that's the one you want to go with, we can accommodate that by simply having her repeat it. Would that work for you?
I'll just repeat what she said. She said that no matter who it is, what it is, they shouldn't have to rely on another person from like a legal standpoint. Whether if Jimmy needs her blood in order to survive, she shouldn't be forced to give her blood to Jimmy. Same way that a fetus shouldn't have to rely on a woman's body to live.
Very poorly worded.
Did I get the gist of it? I'm not great with wording.
You use common words, but no, you actually reverse the thing about the baby shouldn't have to rely. Obviously, the baby has to rely on is that you don't have an ongoing right to rely on another person's body, even if
Yes,
you
when it comes
initially
to legal
consent to
rights.
it.
Correct. So if maybe right now I could tell Jimmy, sure, I will donate this organ that you need to you. But then if I want to change my mind, I can. I would love to hear your best argument against what Jimmy and I have now presented, our positions on abortion.
Yeah, I'll do this from a legal standpoint. That's used as well. So I believe that mother.
Jesus Christ, move your phone. You sound worse than RFK Jr. Move somewhere. We have 4 minutes left to have this conversation, and you're cutting out again. Did you go right back to the place you were doing it before?
Yeah, I'll go right back to the place. I'm sorry. My belief regarding the legal question is that the minute that two parties consent to intercourse, they've now consented to being potential parents, and parenthood.
Great. We don't even need more than that because you're already wrong. You're already wrong.
Parenthood.
Great.
Yeah.
You're
so
already wrong.
If I have a child, let's say I have a 5-year-old, I'm not required legally to donate my organs to this 5-year-old.
But you're also wrong at the most fundamental level. There is no establishment. There is no establishment that two people consenting to sex is consent to pregnancy and consent to parenthood. In fact, we don't even make people who deliver birth be committed to parenthood because you can still give up for adoption. Consenting to sex is not consenting to pregnancy, period, full stop. You can say, I wish it was, but you would need to defend it again using a factual basis why it should be.
Sure. Why it should be, why consent to sex is consent to pregnancy? Is that what you're asking?
Correct.
Well, so if I'm going to give an analogy here. If I take an abortion pill and then the baby dies, I expect it to happen. If there
are zero reasons why you should be invoking abortion right now, because abortion has nothing to do with whether consent to sex is consenting to pregnancy. Abortion actually has nothing to do with it.
If I set one thing off, right? If I have the gun and there's one bullet in the chamber and there's 6 different things, and then I spin the thing, all right, and then I put it to my head and I die, right? I can expect that to happen. The same way if you have intercourse unprotected or even with protection even, there's a chance that happens and you can't expect to not get pregnant. That's unrealistic. That's like me expecting that I'm going to win the lottery every time I gamble.
Once again, we now have 1 minute to clarify that you are not engaging the actual question. Do you ever get in a car?
Do I ever get in a car? Yes.
Yeah. How often?
I don't know, maybe like twice a week.
So twice a week you consent to being a paraplegic?
I consent to the possibility of being a paraplegic.
Consenting to the possibility is not the same as consenting to the thing.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not. You are not consenting to being a quadriplegic. Right. You literally created the clarification. You are not consenting to being a paraplegic when you get in a car.
Yes, you
because
are.
if an accident happens, you know what? Then I'm a paraplegic. And you know what else? I shouldn't pursue anything to rectify that I am a paraplegic because I consented to being a paraplegic. So I shouldn't also even seek to stop being a paraplegic. And I should just live with those consequences because I consented to being a paraplegic. That is idiotic reasoning that you don't even actually believe, Lucian. You just think that you can't win this argument if you concede it. Okay. Are you consenting to being a paraplegic when you get in the car?
When I'm getting into a car, I understand the risk.
Nope. You don't get to clarify. You don't get to clarify. If moments ago you said it's the same thing. You do not. Correct. You're right. You don't get if a moments ago you said there is no difference, then you don't need to answer yes, anything besides yes or no. Do you consent to being paraplegic, come what may, That's the consequences. I decided to get in a car. Do you consent to being a paraplegic when you get in a car?
Technically, yes.
No.
Okay, wait.
And
I've got another
it's
question.
We
real
have
quick.
to go. We like
Last
Just because you don't
question.
like my answer doesn't mean it's
Last
no,
question,
Jimmy.
Lucian. Last question. If I go outside wearing a short skirt, do I consent to being sexually harassed?
You consent to the possibility of being sexually harassed.
Why
said
do you
there's no
keep
difference.
clarifying?
Technically,
Why do you
yes.
keep clarifying?
You said there's no difference.
Because it's
Does
a
she consent?
clarification needed.
You said there's no difference. You said
Okay,
that the
let's ask this.
possibility and the thing is the same.
If I walk into a room with a man, am I consenting to being raped?
You're consenting to the possibility of being raped. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a difference
Holy
between consenting to the
shit.
possibility and the actual thing?
I would say there's a slight difference, yes.
You just said minutes ago there is no difference, that there's no difference between consenting to pregnancy and
I never
consenting
said
to the
no
risk of
difference. Those are not
pregnancy.
my words.
Yes, you did.
We
Oh my
could go
fucking
rewind
God.
the tape.
All right, well, cool.
On that note,
Lucian's values are such.
technically-
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Okay,
Lucian's values are such that if you walk into a room with a man, you've consented to being raped. Excellent job, Lucian. You really are a star amongst men, and you are why they will choose the bear every fucking time. You knew the risk. I mean, Your Honor, she consented. She walked in the room with me. This is from
That's his
Lucian's first
argument.
future case. She knew the risk. So is it rape? Because technically, he literally just, it doesn't see the irony of the word consent in there. Technically, you are consenting to the risk of being raped. Is rape not literally the loss of consent? Well, it's not the loss of conceptual consent. Just like oh my fucking God, you fucking rape apologist, rape culture douchebag. We don't even have time to do an outro. Goodbye, everybody. We love you. We'll see you over at the podcast here in just a moment.
And we'll
See
be
you
back
there.
next week. Same time.
Yes. Okay.
Bye.
Love you. Bye. You know how to join the podcast still?
I have no idea.
It's the way we used to.
Oh, it's in the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm gonna, okay. Bye.
Okay. Love y'all. Bye. Okay, I gotta close this.